Hello, everyone. GameHounds podcast. We are here. What was that look, Nick? Like super like
No, wait. What is it? It's what's the smile? Smile. It's like you got to lean your head down a little bit.
that's gonna end up being that's gonna end up being the automatic thumbnail on YouTube. You know that.
Probably, probably.
Hi, everyone.
Have
How are
fun
you? This
with the
podcast, Nick and Edie.
on theme.
Mhm.
Halloween, right? Got to do the creepy smile.
Yeah. Halloween is coming up next week, right?
Hmm.
Oh,
No, not next week. It's week and a half.
week and a half. Okay, good. Because Halloween, the morning of Halloween, I'm having a colonoscopy.
different type of horror.
Yeah, exactly. A total different shit show. Yeah, so which means that the 30th is going to literally be a shit show for me. You've never had one, have you? Oh, you
Mm-mm.
never experienced the joy of a colon blow. It's fucking miserable. Fucking miserable.
Well, I look forward to it
You
in
you
the
have to drink
future.
they give you 2
Mm.
bottles of it, right? And you have to drink the first one the day before, and it's supposed to make you shit yourself silly.
Okay.
So you take it, but you have no idea how long it's gonna take. So, I mean, last time I had this, I actually had a meeting that night that
Mm.
I was the secretary of the meeting. So, I was taking notes, and before we started, I'm like, "Hey, everyone, I'm having a colonoscopy tomorrow morning, and I've taken about 3 hours ago, I took this stuff. It's supposed to hit in 4 hours."
Which is what you want to tell all your work colleagues.
Right. So it's like at a certain point, I might in the middle of the meeting stop the meeting and say, "Hey everyone, I got to go and I need someone to pick up on the notes instantly because I'm logging off immediately." And sure enough, in the meeting it was like, "Hup, got to go. Bye." And yeah, then spending a very prodigious amount of time in the bathroom over and over and over and over again to the point, and then you go to sleep and it doesn't stop. So you're up again and again and again in the middle of the night. And then at about 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, depending on when your actual colonoscopy is, you got to take a second dose. So then you take a second dose and then you go again. And then it's like at that point, it is just pure clear. Like it's water. It's just water. You are cleaned out. Completely, utterly hollowed out. And that's what I get to do on the 30th. I'm
Sounds
not
fun.
looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to this
Yeah.
at all. And look what you
Okay.
have to
Okay.
look forward
Um,
to.
chat. What is the most like scatological horror movie you can think of? AC Wraith?
Are we gonna have a watch party where it's all about pooping?
No, I won't. You can watch it.
We gonna have a watch party together of a
I
pooping movie?
I don't want to watch that,
Why
but you
not?
can. It's on
Let's
theme.
see. Let's see. Movies. Let's see. I'm looking it up. Movies about
Make sure you open an incognito tab.
there's Connecticut Poop, Life After College is Crap.
Hmm.
Poop Talk Doggy Poo is another movie. Movies about pooping. There we go. Good old Reddit. Good
Put
old Reddit. Never everything's on Reddit. Swiss Army Man is probably the closest you'll
oh,
get.
okay.
Dreamcatcher, 2003.
Oh
Poop
my
is a major
god,
plot.
that's the next watch party movie.
Dreamcatcher?
Yes, because it's a horror movie,
It's a
so it's
Stephen
on
King
theme.
story.
It is.
Okay.
It's it's not the best. It's not terrible. It's a little weird. Like a lot of Stephen King, it's like there's a really good moment, and then there's like this guy is shitting himself to death. and you're like, should I be scared? I don't know how to feel about that.
If part of the theme is shitting yourself to death, then that is absolutely the movie I should be watching.
I think okay, I know it's about like an alien parasite that moves from one person to another. But I forget exactly where the shitting comes in to play. I don't know if that's how the alien that can't be how the alien gets into you. I think like if the alien enters you, then you start to shit. I remember watching it in theaters, and just thinking like this is weird. This is weird, but I'm also kind of into it because
Oh, no, somebody
oh,
else suggested another one.
hmm.
I will never watch this, never happen.
Wait, what is it? You kind of went robot-y. Wait, you're kind of flipping in and out. I
No,
can't hear you. You
yeah,
you're frozen with the best face. I need to take a picture of
no.
this. Hang on. You're still a little one guy quotes the pretty woman cat shitting mouth taste conversation. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I've never actually seen Pretty Woman. You're still robot-y. I'm not sure what's going on with the internet. Oh, okay. There she goes. Yeah, so wait, AC Wraith. Are you talking about like the um Julia Roberts romantic comedy? The cat shitting mouth taste conversation? I have not seen that movie, but that is not what I would imagine that would include. I just saw this this comment. All I know is I had my colonoscopy in March and they didn't find my head up there. Good. That's good. Also good they didn't find anyone else's head up there. That's also a good thing. So I am glad that your colon is clear of heads. Well, okay. Well, Edie does that. Um, let me think. I'm gonna try to avoid game stuff. Okay. This is for the pretty woman. They wake up and one wants to know what happened to the cat. The other asks what cat. The first says that shat in their mouth. What the fuck? What? That? How has that scene not like been memed or something to this point? That is crazy. Oh, Edie says internet down. Oh, but looks like we have to cancel show. Oh, her internet might have like completely pooped out on her. Also, she says obvious movie choice, Human Centipede, which yes, that is on brand. Hang on. That's so weird that like the entire internet would go down on at 2:30 on a Sunday afternoon. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's not stormy outside. Um, there's no storm, there's no heavy winds, there's no rain. It's like a perfectly sunny day. And yeah, AC Race asked, should we make a date for Hellraiser? Yes. Oh, yeah. Chris won't call Comcast, get a tech out here. He keeps fucking with the Wi-Fi mesh, but the problem is the connection at the box. I need to know, does this happen often? How long does it take to come back? I'm sorry, you're just watching me text someone one-sided. This is very thrilling. Has for Hellraiser. Obviously, if Edie was here, we could make a more solid date for it. But I would tentatively say like next Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, yes, on the bright side, she went out frozen looking like she was taking a dump while we were discussing scat stuff. I did take a picture of that too. Yeah, has for Hellraiser tentatively like next weekend. But I don't know for sure because Edie's not here and it's kind of largely dependent on her schedule. Well, apparently it is a weather related problem because the Wi-Fi box or like the Comcast box is outside, and if it gets too hot, it basically turns off. It fails. And so on a nice sunny day, that's actually it's actually disastrous. Hmm. Um, yeah, so I'm sorry. We probably don't have much of a show today because, yeah, Edie's internet just completely crapped out. Oh, maybe she can join with cellular. Like just join from the Safari on iOS. Anyways, well, what was some big news? Like I can at least go a little bit. Uh okay, so like I'll go a little bit in keeping with some horror related stuff. I played this game Stasis Bone Totem, which is a sequel to Stasis, which was a horror game that came out several years ago. I really enjoyed it, but this one I did not like. And I think part of that issue is my fault for playing on console. It's a point and click adventure, and it's kind of heavily reliant on moving the mouse around and the cursor, and just the way that it's ported to console doesn't work at all. The whole thing is just a confusing mess of controls. The UI is absolutely awful. But it also doesn't help that the puzzles are so obtuse that even after I looked up the solution to one, I couldn't get it to work. And part of that is maybe it was bugged, uh, but just everything about it was bad. And the first game was so good. I want to give the developer the benefit of the doubt and not just call them bad developers because that first game was really good. I think a lot of it, I think that their puzzle design was bad, but I think a lot of my frustration with the game itself and trying to figure out the puzzles had to do with the fact that the controls and the interface was so bad that the frustrating puzzles just made everything worse. Oh my god, she can't even join on Sailor. She has one bar. She says, I can't even send a photo to Chris via text. So she's in like an internet black hole. Um, okay, well, Okay, this is the name of this episode is. Oh, are you there?
I'm
What
back.
the hell? How?
It just came back. I have no idea how long it's gonna be.
You
Yeah.
got to put up an umbrella to protect that box. You got to like get some water
I'm
cooling
I'm
there.
it's only
Ice
just kind
packs.
of anecdotal that I think that it has to do with when the sun hits the box. It is very much anecdotal. I
I
am
mean,
not entirely sure, but the fact that it is anecdotal leads me to believe it is the box, but he's just absolutely not going to. Here's the thing is that it like, like when your internet when you call Comcast to fix
mhm,
your internet, right? They make a big deal about saying, if the problem is inside your home, we can't do anything about that. You're gonna get, and if you asked us to do it, we are gonna charge the shit out of you. Well, he sees that and goes, "Oh, I gotta fix everything in the house first before I
mm.
call, have them do it." It's like, no.
But hasn't he done that? You've said that he's done a lot to try to extend the signal
Oh my
and
God,
improve
he
the
has
signal.
spent thousands of
He
dollars.
spent more money trying to fix it himself than what Comcast would have charged him.
Absolutely. Spent thousands of dollars creating this whole new, like, next level, next gen mesh within the house. So I got lots of signal, but it doesn't go to the internet anymore. And it's like, dude, it's the box. And he's like, well, there's a splitter behind the walls, but I can't figure out where the splitter is. I'm like, it's the box. Don't if it's not the box, then it's the splitter, and we can go investigate in the walls where that splitter is. But in the meantime, fucking call Comcast and have a technician come out. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, I think I need you to do that because you can convince them to do stuff to check stuff out for you." He goes, "No, they'll do it. This is what they do."
It's the job. Okay. Well, I had started talking about some games. Um Stasis, Bone Totem, not very good.
He just gave me the address and the password to the modem just now.
Okay.
Oh, we have reached a whole new level of relationship in that now I can log into the modem. That's pretty desperate when you literally give someone the address and password to log into your modem.
I don't know. You'd fix it.
Exactly. Oh, I'm gonna no, I'm not gonna go. It's pointless for me to go in. There's nothing I can. What am I gonna do?
Yeah. How are
It's
you going to
not
make it worse?
right. That's the well, true, but that's the thing is that
Yeah,
it's
it's not the
not
modem.
the modem. It's
You
the
can
box
reset the
on the
modem
side of
all you
the house.
want.
Exactly. We've got a fantastic signal to the modem.
Mm-hmm.
The modem has a fantastic signal to the box. But you know where we don't have a good signal? From the box to the internet. Rename the network. Help us.
Oh, that's pretty good.
No, I'm going to rename the network. Call fucking Comcast. Oh, that would be funny. Because
That would be
my
good.
yeah,
You should.
my
You should
my
because
Wi-Fi network in the neighborhood. Okay, so for many years ago, there was a woman whose brother came to visit and he was like traveling. So he left his motorcycle parked on the street, but it was parked in this particular place that it was just in the wrong spot. That you couldn't get two cars in front of it. You could only get one,
Mm,
but that one extra space was just short of a car. So you couldn't park in that second space. If you'd have parked a little bit forward or a little bit back, it would have been fine. But the fact that he parked right there kind of fucked up and then reduced the amount of cars that could park on the street by one, which was an issue. And that motorcycle stayed there for almost a year.
oh my god! And no one just like grabbed it and dragged it 2 feet.
No, it was a very big motorcycle. It was a really nice motorcycle. So I renamed we had to get a new modem, and so the Comcast guy comes over and he's like, "Okay, we got a new modem. What do you want to name the network?" And I said, "Move the fucking motorcycle."
Did it work?
And sure enough, so people in the neighborhood were like, "Okay, who named their Wi-Fi move the fucking motorcycle?" Because that's hilarious. Because everybody on the street knew exactly what we were talking about.
The infamous motorcycle.
Yep, move the fucking motorcycle. It's a great way to send a little like message, a snarky message
Yeah,
to the
little
neighbors
passive
without
aggressive
identifying yourself.
message.
Without identifying yourself, because you could put something on there and nobody knows exactly who said it, but somebody in the neighborhood said it.
Let's see. What are there any good Wi-Fi? There's someone named Boomer Airport. Milky, Project Loon, and just a bunch of like
Let me see what the
Xfinity,
Wi-Fi networks are here.
a bunch of AT&T, bunch of real boring networks.
Yeah, we got Tosca. That is the most interesting. Tosca and Tosca 5G. That's the only networks we have out here. Now, my current network is named
Yeah, we got nothing good.
Fuck the RPA. No, seriously, ... fuck the RPA, because the RPA is the Richmond Progressive Alliance, and they're the people that are in City Hall, and they're awful.
Oh.
The network, seriously, ... fuck the RPA.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm sure the neighbors like know the acronym.
Oh, yeah. Oh, everybody in Richmond knows the
Anyone
RPA.
in the vicinity to see the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
they know it.
Somebody and somebody walked by and was like, "Were you the one that wrote fuck the RPA?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that's fine." Anyway,
Anyways,
Human
okay.
Centipede. Human Centipede is the obvious answer for the poop movie,
Yeah, that's a good one.
but I'm not gonna watch that ever, 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 ever going to watch that movie. That will never happen. I will become a Dodgers fan and eat at Arby's before I ever do that.
There's like a level there. Like those things that you mentioned do not seem on the level as Human Centipede. They seem way smaller.
No, those are very big for me.
Okay.
I despise the Dodgers and the whole World Series right now, the way it's shaping up. If it's a Dodgers-Yankees series, the only thing I might be rooting for in that matchup is an asteroid to come down and just murder everyone in the
I
entire
was
stadium.
gonna say an earthquake.
An earthquake opens up and the whole stadium drops in. That is what I'm rooting for if it's gonna be Yankees-Dodgers. But, see, it figures the one time that I'm dating a Dodger fan, like a rabid Dodger fan, is the year that it's going to be Dodgers and Yankees, and there's nobody for me to root for. And he's like, you gotta root for the Dodgers now. Come on. You're not gonna root for the Yankees. Come on. Nobody's gonna root for the Yankees except the Yankees fans. It's the Yankees. You can't root for them. And you're right. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I can't. So I'm gonna have to root for the Dodgers. And it is making the Dodger fan so happy. Oh,
Well, why don't are
giddy.
they're not there yet, right?
No. If
So
the
you
Dodgers
can
win tonight,
you still have time to root against every team that the Dodgers face.
well, no, there's only one game left. If they win the game tonight,
Mm,
it starts at 5 o'clock. They're going to the World Series, and the Yankees clinched yesterday. So it's either going to
okay.
be the Mets or the Dodgers, and the Dodgers only have to win one game, and
Okay.
the Mets would have to win both games at Dodger Stadium to go. So I'm really, really rooting for the Mets right now. Really rooting for the Mets, but I don't have much hope. Reminder, there are decent people in New York State, and you just said guitars. Yeah, I have no problem. I mean, I'm
You see,
rooting for the
Edie
Mets.
hates the Dodgers and the Yankees so much she wants to wipe the entire New York State off of
No, no,
the
no, no,
face
no,
of the
no, no, no,
earth.
no, no, no. I love the Mets. I love the Mets. I think the Mets are awesome. The Giants are former New York, both the Dodgers and the Giants were former New York teams. I love New York. It's not New York. It's the Yankees. And anybody who is not a Yankees fan understands what I mean. we're not rooting against New York. We're rooting against the Yankees. Very specific. Like, I don't hate the Angels baseball team at all. Actually, I kind of like the Angels. They're kind of nice.
Well,
But I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers.
for what it's worth, USA Today predicts that the Mets will win by 7-3.
It's not going to happen. Dodgers are going to win.
That is the over under according to the sports books.
Dodgers are going to win, and I'm obligated to be nice about it. And I'm going to be like cringing inside. My stomach is going to be churning in like my own bile. I'm going to eat my own liver due to just all of the acid and hatred. But I'm going to smile and I'm going to root for the Dodgers because there's a certain something about my team won several years ago the World Series. It was the best day of my life. The game that I went to, the World Series, it was the best game of my life, or best day of my life. That includes my wedding day. That includes every day of my honeymoon. That was the best day of my life. And I would never deny anyone, even a Dodger fan, maybe a Yankee fan, but even a Dodger fan, I would not deny you the absolute unmitigated joy of your team that you truly love and have loved since a childhood being in the World Series and winning the World Series. I will always, there's something about that you have to put it aside.
Ryan Stevenson is in the chat and agrees. As a Jays fan, I hate the evil Empire Yankees.
Everybody hates the Yankees. That's the rule.
Why do people hate the Yankees? What is it? It was like the Patriots a couple years ago where like they win everything. They were too good.
Well, yes, there was that, but it was Steinbrenner who was the owner of the Yankees for many years, and he was just an unmitigated asshole. He essentially bought the World Series over and over and over again. And there's something about Yankees fans that it's like your payroll is like 4 times what every other team is, and you're just like running around like Yankees are fantastic.
Oh, we're so good. We're so good. It's like, well, yeah, you're just throwing money.
No, you are not. You bought it. You literally bought all of the best players, and now you're acting like you did this on your own. No, George Steinbrenner bought the World Series for you over and over and over again. And the thing is, George Steinbrenner was an awful human being, a truly awful human being. So yeah. That's pretty much what cemented everybody hating the Yankees. There's something about the Yankees fans that they're just so entitled and smug. They're the original smug team. So everybody hates the Yankees except Yankees fans.
Are they still doing well? Like, are they still
Yankees going to the World Series?
That's right. Duh, we were just talking about that.
Yes, they're doing very well. And for the World Series, I have to root for the Dodgers because Hernandez. I can get it. I can see that. But
have they ever had a down year? Because like the Patriots were that team for a while, but now they're awful.
They have had not great years, but they've never truly had a down year. Thank you.
Okay.
For the link for George Steinbrenner. Horrible person. Horrible. Yeah.
He's the Bobby Kotick of baseball.
Bobby Kotick. He's the Bobby Kotick of baseball.
Okay.
That is the perfect way to describe it. The Bobby Kotick of baseball. Absolutely. George Steinbrenner. He was a widget salesman, and he bought a World Series team over and over and over again in the 80s.
That tracks.
Yep. So, anyway, you were talking about something that was game.
I was talking about a game, and then you came back, and now we can talk about other games. What have you been playing other than hop whack-a-mole with the internet?
Internet whack-a-mole is what I've been playing. I actually really haven't been playing too much. I started to play that what was it? Retro football?
Oh, Retro Bowl.
Retro Bowl. I started playing that Retro Bowl. It is surprisingly deep.
right?
Yeah, for like a mobile game. As I'm going through the tutorial, I'm like, I'm intimidated by this game. It's uh you think it's just going to be, like that look, like, remember I don't know if you remember the little handheld console with the
Oh my
small
god,
console?
yes, those things. Oh, those things were so bad.
They were bad, but I loved those. That was all we had when we were
Oh
kids. There
yeah.
was no such thing as a Game Boy. That was as close as we got to getting a Magnavox console.
Fucking kids these days don't know how good they have it.
Um, but Retro Bowl is you think it's going to be kind of like that. But very, very quickly you realize that it is more like Football Manager, but also even more deep than Football Manager, because you're not just creating the team and managing the team and then playing the games, you're also building the fan base, and you're also improving the stadium. You're
Yeah.
essentially Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney.
Yes, and that's what was so fun about it. But I think what makes it work is that you're doing all those things, but it's simplified in a way that it doesn't feel overwhelming. It's not like if you actually boot up Football Manager 25, they throw so much information at you
Yep,
that like I don't want all that.
yep.
But this takes the important parts, like, oh, stadium, you want to build the fans, you want to, you have a budget for teams, you have to do the draft. It takes like all these elements, but it simplifies them down into like one mechanic.
Yeah.
And so everything is just one mechanic. And so it's very easy to just kind of jump into it and like internalize a lot of the rules.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tutorial is actually surprisingly deep, and thorough, but also it is a little intimidating because you end up, just like you think it's going to be something super easy, and it is absolutely not. All of a sudden you real oops sorry all of a sudden you realize that not only are you playing a football game, which is hard, but also that, I mean, because actually I also played Retro Bowl, and then there was also a soccer version of that.
I haven't played that one yet.
That one is even harder.
Oh.
But let's see. Okay, this is just the tutorial. Let me go actually into a game. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. So
So
not only are you actually playing the game, but you are managing the team, you are managing the stadium, you are managing the fans and the fan base and trying to build stuff, and it's it ain't easy.
no,
It takes a bit.
I know, especially in the early parts when your team kind of sucks. Like, oh my god, I'm watching this guy. He's running so slow. Because
Uh-huh.
at this point, I've bought like a bunch of running backs and I've trained them up so that like when they catch it, they bolt. They'll
Mm.
run it. And this guy is just a little
Oh,
slow. But
yeah.
also a lot of it because uh the way you pass is you kind of use your thumb to draw back and then let go. Uh, I have a really bad habit of throwing interceptions. It's probably best if I don't play and I just let the game sim it itself because so often it's like, oh, we're coming down to the wire. We'll come down to the wire. Throw interception. They
Oh,
intercepted it in their own end zone and
oh,
ran it back. And
oh
I'm like,
my god.
and then my defense will they'll rise to the occasion, they'll
Mhm.
defend it, and we're like, yes, we're back, we're on the 30-yard line, there's 30 seconds left, I got this. Throw interception. Motherfucker. I think there was a game when I threw for like 4 interceptions in a row, and that's when I realized this I'm not a good quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. So, I I started to play it, and I realized, "Oh, I need to really concentrate on this," and it's not just at least at the beginning, it's not just a pick up and play a little bit and then drop it. It's pretty extensive, and you've got to kind of have a block of time to kind of get it under the belt.
Mhm.
Once you have it, then I could see it being just like, play a little game, just play
Yeah.
one game, and
Well,
then move on.
what I have found is that the deeper I get into it, the less interested I am in the actual football game and the more interested I am in the management. Like,
Right.
I'm just, yeah, sim the game, get this over with. Okay, now I'm back in the management. Who needs what? Oh, this guy's really angry. Let me bring in psychologists to help him out. Oh, I'm going to go through a whole season and not spend any money because I'm trying to save up my coaching credits so I can increase the salary cap so that when all my best players end their contracts at the end of this year, I can
Mhm.
like rebuild the team.
Nice. Yeah.
And yeah, it's like become more a part of the management. But like I said, it's a simplified management sim. Like there's still a lot going on, but it's not like Football Manager. And
Right.
it
Right.
exists in that perfect little middle ground where it's complicated, but it's not too
Too
complicated.
complicated. It's like you said, yeah, perfect middle ground of, I don't want to make this my career. I don't
Yeah.
want to like have to take a tutorial to figure out how to play a game, but I want little something more than just, that Atari, whatever it was, that, football game.
Yeah. Oh, what were those called?
I
It was like
forgot
the Game
what
and
was it?
Watch was the Nintendo ones, but
Yeah, yeah. What was the name of that? Does anybody remember? Um, Ryan Stevenson says that's a perfect explanation. I'm assuming he means the Bobby
oh
Kotick
yeah, the Bobby Kotick.
of
Yeah.
baseball. Yeah.
Oh, the Tiger. That's who it was. The Tiger handhelds.
Was that called? Was it a tiger? Let me see this.
I'm
Let me
looking at
see.
vintage handhelds on eBay. Yeah, Tiger handheld had a
Okay,
bunch
that's
of
that one.
bad
No, no,
ones.
no, no. When I was a kid, there was one even older. So it was a handheld football game 80s. The one I'm talking about was this one, the Mattel Classic Football. That
Oh,
one right there.
jeez, that looks even worse.
Yeah, yeah, that was it was way, way worse. Oh yeah, that one. There we go. Oh man, yeah. We played a lot of that. All it was it was red. It was red LEDs. That's all it was. There wasn't even a screen. It was red LED. And it was great. So much fun.
It's
We
only
played
$30.
hours on that. Yep, that definitely takes me back. If game malfunctions, try fresh batteries. That's actually in really that's a year 2000. So this is a year 2000 model as opposed to the ones that were 1980s. Yeah, there we go. You can see what it looks like red LEDs. That's all we had. And that's what the screen looked like. Here, see if I can zoom in on this. Yeah. That's what the screen looked like. That's what you were playing. And you just had up, down, and forward and back. Good times, good times. Oh, there we go. That's the original, the Coleco.
Oh, Coleco.
Yeah, that's the original right there. Let me pull that one out. This is the one that we had when I was a kid, not Mattel, but the Coleco one. Right here. Yeah, that one.
That's
Yeah,
still only
electronic quarterback. That's it. You had up, down, back, and then a kick or punt. Yeah. A lot of time spent on that. A lot of time spent on that. Anyway, so yes, it's more than what that is, but it's less than Football Manager. So it
yeah.
hits a very neat little sweet spot for a game. And it also has, which is something I really appreciate, not just the American football, but European, like football, soccer football.
Oh yeah, yeah, retro
Still,
gold.
retro goal. So everybody's kind of served by this one. So I thank you. The Coleco electronic quarterback, and then there's Mattel football. So yeah, I would recommend if you want something a little bit more, and it's also being on the mobile makes it super easy. You can just like go in, play a little drop out, go do something, have a day, play on a commute, or if you have spare time or on the toilet or whatever. Anyway, so that was what I've been playing. And what else were you
Yeah.
playing?
I talked about a bad game. Well, what good have I played? I started playing Metaphor, ReFantazio.
I
I
think we talked about that last week, didn't you?
I played the demo last week, but I since bought the game, and I actually started over. Just
Oh.
because I I had played through like the opening hours of the demo over the course of like 4 days, playing an hour at a time while drinking and kind of being like a little buzzed and like, wait, I don't know what's going on. This I can't follow. This is fucking weird. Especially because like that the game throws a lot of like high-minded ideas at you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Uh so I started over and I'm glad I did because I think I have a much better sense of not just the story and the world, but the mechanics.
Mhm.
Um I was able to fight this dragon in the mines and get some good items from that I wasn't able to do in the previous game, just because I was able to kind of better prepare.
Mhm.
Uh, and what was fun too about going through the mines, which was this level that I had played before, is that since I knew before, I kind of knew what the enemies were weak to, and so I knew, oh, if I want to do fire, I'm going to hit the triangle button to go into skills, and then hit X to select what's interesting about the game, and they mentioned this on Remap Radio too. Just mechanically and in like the UI, it has trimmed like all the fat that you could possibly trim from turn-based combat.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're fighting an enemy that's weak against fire, and you hit the button to go into your skills menu, fire will automatically be selected. So like if you have ice, wind, fire, thunder, but like you're fighting an enemy weak against thunder, the game knows that and
Right.
will automatically select the
That's
spell
kinda
that it's
cool.
weak to. And so it knows, oh, I'm just gonna hit triangle XX.
Mhm.
Just boom, 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 boom. And it's like dead, dead, dead. And oh, I finished this fight in 10 seconds. Like it when you kind of know what you're doing and you know what the enemy's weak against, and you're just like you just want to get through the battle because you're stronger than the enemy. Like it moves as fast as a turn-based game can possibly be. Like it at a certain point, it doesn't feel turn-based, but it is, and it's cool. And I appreciate that for a game that is supposedly going to be fucking long. I
Mhm.
appreciate that it at least feels like really, really snappy and actiony.
Right.
Um, so
Seems
yeah,
like
like
past this tutorial part so that we can actually get
oh,
into
oh,
real.
this is like an hour and a half into the game.
Oh, no, you're kidding.
this this it takes a while to
Oh my
like
god. To
uh uh
master.
not just to master, but like the story takes a bit to get going. And I still feel like based on what I've heard other people say, I'm still kind of in the intro area. So
Mhm.
the story, as it is for me now, the king is dead. The king of this kingdom is dead. Um, Long ago, the young prince was assassinated, but he wasn't really assassinated. There was an attempted assassination that basically put him into a magical coma. And so his like not advisors, but like the people closest to him uh took him away and hid him in this place far away because hey, the prince is still alive even if he's in a coma. um but because he was assassinated like in the castle, we don't trust anybody. So fast forward some years, and then the king is assassinated.
Mhm.
But because no one knows the prince is still alive, there's like this fear of, oh, is there going to be a war of succession going on?
Right.
What's going on? And there's this dude named Luis, who everyone is like, yeah, this fucker killed the king. This fucker killed the prince. We know he did because he's kind of in line for the throne. So really, who
Mhm.
else would do it?
Right.
But we can't prove it. Like there is no evidence. And he's kind of like a badass general, so that all the military really loves him because he's really good at what he does.
So he's sort
But
of untouchable.
uh-huh. Um, and so your goal is this dude with the blue hair, was an old friend to the young prince. And after the king is murdered, you get sent on a mission to basically go to the kingdom, meet with your contact, and assassinate Luis.
Mhm.
And that's our goal. Getting to the kingdom, well, first you have to go to the kingdom, join up with the military, like enlist. Then you get sent out on a mission, and then you meet your contact, and then you have to go back to the kingdom to try to assassinate him. And so that whole process of go to the city, leave the city, go back to the city is like all still part of you know, the intro. It's all start of
Oh,
like
wow. That's the intro?
from what I heard,
Well, this is very Persona-like, and that's kind of the
exactly.
nature of Persona is it's a really, 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 really long game, so this
Exactly.
doesn't surprise me.
And so I know that there is an attempt on Luis's life coming up. Like if I go play now in an hour, I bet I will get to the assassination attempt for Luis. So
Mhm.
even though at this point in the game, my driving motivation is to assassinate Luis, that's going to happen as part of the intro. So I don't know what the rest of the 80 hours of this game are going to be. I'm assuming that something is going to happen and go wrong. Um, but I don't know exactly what. Uh, but that's really, really interesting. It sets up this really interesting story and this really interesting world. The world itself, too,
Mm,
is broken up into 8 tribes, and each of the tribes are like vaguely animal like. One tribe has some horns, like this dude right here. One tribe has like big old elf ears coming out the side. One tribe has cat ears. One tribe has like tails and wings. But you, blue haired guy, are an elder. And an elder is kind of defined by um, eyes of 2 different colors. But
mhm.
you are also like the most hated tribe because apparently the church basically says, yeah, elders are the devil, they're demons, and they are the cause of everything wrong with the world. Um,
Oh, okay.
so that has like barely come up in my time playing. It's just I'm
Mhm.
running through the city and everyone is like, "Ooh, an
Saying that.
elder, what the fuck?" But
Yeah.
I'm sure that that's going to become a bigger part of the plot moving forward. But yeah, it's just so far it's an interesting world, really snappy combat, and I'm glad that I started over just to kind of better ground myself in this weird world because there is a lot of weirdness to it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and it feels like all the UI streamlined design elements that they learned from making a bunch of Persona games they have put into this one.
Yeah, it seems like it. That it's they've just decided to make Persona by a different name, but much, much better.
Yeah, because
Taking all the lessons that they've learned about making a game better, more faster, more enjoyable, taking just
yeah,
essentially make optimizing it for enjoyment.
because so much of Persona is about time management, right? It's about, oh, you have a day, what do you do during that day? And you can do different actions that take up time. But that's a huge part of the Persona games, time management. That's
Mhm.
a huge part of this game too.
Right.
I haven't done any of that. I'm about like 3 to 4 hours in. I have not done any time management, which again tells me I'm in the intro. I'm
Yeah,
in the beginning.
yeah.
I This is all like place setting.
He says it wasn't a rock, it was a rock lobster? What are you talking about?
Like the
Dum, dum,
game,
dum, da, 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 dum.
Rock Lobster.
Dum, 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 da, 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 dum.
Yeah, but it
Diddy,
also
diddy,
says I like when devs stick to what
oh.
they know. Yes, that it's nice to see like developers just kind of further um iterate on an idea and just kind of refine it more and more and more and more.
Mhm. AC Ray says, do the mainline Shin Megami Tensei games also have time management? The franchise always looks nifty, but I don't want to follow long schedules in my game time.
Time. I know SMT was like Atlas's big RPG series
Mhm.
before Persona.
Yes.
I have no idea
I've never
what
played
those
that.
games are like.
Yeah, with Nick, is that I didn't come to Atlas's games really until Persona 3, I believe it was.
My
And
brother played a Shin Megami Tensei game and he really loved it, but I hadn't touched any of them.
mhm, yeah. So, we can't answer that.
No. Nope.
Not sure. So,
But yeah,
bottom line,
I
you're enjoying and you think it's good. What are you
yes,
playing it on?
PlayStation.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I'm still playing more Unicorn Overlord on my Odin, and that game continues to just be really cool. It's neat how much variety that game is able to stick into some of its battles.
Mhm.
How some battles, mm, excuse me,
You're right there?
yes,
You're not getting uh, just FYI, the last couple of days, I have had a case of food poisoning. Yay,
no,
me.
not food poisoning, just carbonation.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
And
it's
also,
right
AC
now and I'm like and I was explaining to Nick, I am like the 3rd person I know this week that got food poisoning, which is weird. My brother got food poisoning, somebody at my work got food poisoning, and now I got food poisoning, all unrelated to each other.
this is bad luck.
Just bad
Yeah,
luck.
and AC Ray said that Persona is a spin-off of Shin Megami Tensei.
Oh,
I didn't know that. So technically they take place in the same universe?
I guess so.
That's kind of funny. How the spin-off has kind of taken over from the original.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but anyways, so yeah, Unicorn Overlord, some of the fights you get into are really, really small. Like you've got your base, the enemy base, and it's just a tiny little skirmish in the middle. And then other battles are these huge, expansive events where I'm sending armies across fields. I'm like thinking about, okay, you're going to go this way, you're going to go this way. We're going to flank them, like surround them. And it actually feels like, battlefield tactics about how do I use my battalions and on the field to kind of best manage the space. But it's long. I've spent all this time playing it and I've basically completed one continent. There's 5 continents. So like
Really?
this thing is fucking huge. And it boggles my mind. But I think it's a nice thing that I'm able to pick up and play pretty quickly
Mhm.
because you can save almost at any point.
Oh,
You
that's
can
kinda
save
nice.
in the overworld. You can save in the middle of battle. So I'm actually really happy that I'm playing it on a handheld
Mhm.
because being able to save it anywhere means that it's super easy to pick up and put down. I
Right.
can pick it up, play it for literally 5 minutes, and then just put it down and go make dinner. Like it's just easy. And
That's really nice.
yeah, it's nice to just kind of have something that if I've got some free time, yeah, I'll pick it up, I'll play a battle, or I'll pick it up and maybe I'll do some little nitty gritty team management.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and it definitely hits that tactics itch.
So I'm gonna step away for a second because speaking of, food
Oh,
poisoning,
is it?
I have to step away for a second, and also I just got a horrible chill, so yay, it's still going on. So I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah, Bitter says this is looks like your kind of game. That's cool. I'm glad. It's yeah, I remember talking about Tactics Ogre that I played the emulator on earlier this year, and this is very much a spiritual successor to that, and it's kind of neat to get into. And oh, I hope this video shows some of the battles because you can skip all of the battles. But is he actually? Yeah, he just skipped that battle in this video. But you can actually zoom in to see what are the individual characters doing. And that's really helpful because you can see you can't control their turns. Unlike um metaphor. I'm not actually controlling them in a fight. But that makes it really helpful to watch them fight because I can see, oh, this person is taking an action, but they're ineffective for one reason or another. And I know, okay, maybe I'm going to change their skills to make them more effective. Or this person has a skill that I want them to use, but they don't ever get a chance to use it. So I'm going to go into their AI controlled, like just their tactics, and I'm going to switch around like the priority of their abilities so that they prioritize the thing I want them to do more. Oh yeah, here you can see a battle. Yeah, like this is all automatic. Oh, and that was a very easy battle. But yeah, very cool game. Really enjoying it. I will probably be playing that thing for like the rest of the year and into next year, considering how long it is. But it's also like a really good thing to play on flights. So that's good. In the meantime, I believe that's all I have played. Yeah, Retro Ball, Stasis, Metaphor, Unicorn. Yeah, that's it. So I think this is time we jumped into news. And I could do the news banner music, but whatever. Well, okay. I guess I should. Where's I gotta go into brand. I gotta come down to background music. Okay, with it. Okay, is this the news sound? I think this is news. Remember what Edie says when she introduces the news. But it's the news. You get that. Let's see. What's a good, like, kind of light thing to talk about for now? Okay, we'll talk about some sales numbers because there's like really good sales news today. The Silent Hill 2 remake has actually sold very, very well, which is nice to see, especially considering I think it was earlier this year or last year, there was the Dead Space remake that apparently didn't sell well enough to get a Dead Space 2 remake. And that's unfortunate. This comes on the heels of the Resident Evil 4 remake selling really well, but also Resident Evil 4 was a very different game, much more action focused instead of horror focused. Like action horror is generally a lot more mainstream than horror. But I'm glad that Silent Hill 2, which is by all accounts it's Bloober Team's best reviewed game that they've ever done. It's probably the best reviewed Silent Hill game. And yeah, it's actually the best selling Silent Hill game too. Especially, yes, Konami tweeted this out on October. The game came out October 6th. Konami tweeted this out October 11th. So 1 million copies in 5 days is really, really good. I know last generation, 1 million copies was kind of generally considered the success point. That's not the case anymore, especially for something like Silent Hill 2 Remake, which is a pretty big budget game. So I don't think we're quite at the break even. This is a financial success point, but 1 million copies in 5 days is a really, really good starting point. And it's really nice to see a good game get rewarded. Peter says the news, the brews, and the poos. That's really fucking good. That's going to be our intro for the news from now on. So yeah, Silent Hill 2 is selling really well. What is also selling really well, unexpectedly, It Takes Two. The game from the creators of Brothers, A Way Out, that co-op jailbreak sim. This was like a famous co-op platformer, basically. Has sold 20 million copies. That is astounding by any metric, but especially for a game like It Takes Two, which is not a big budget thing like Silent Hill 2 Remake. This is amazing. And I think it kind of explains why that studio probably hasn't done anything in a while other than a Brothers remake is that they've just kind of been taking their time with whatever they're doing next because they can. And yeah, I really need to play It Takes Two. I gotta either play it with Edie, play it with Rachel, but gotta play this, like, just to kind of get in on this action because uh for it to sell this well means it's something selling 20 million isn't just like, well, like that's kind of a big cultural thing. And I think it's interesting that we don't hear more about It Takes Two. And I think that means that it's probably broken out of the hardcore gaming space and into the more casual space where it can quietly succeed. But the people that play it, these 20 million people largely, uh, aren't the people that will get on podcasts to talk about it. They're just casual players that are playing it and enjoying it. And that's a really impressive thing to do.
I've actually been thinking of picking that up to play it with the girl child.
Mm,
I think she would enjoy it. And along those same lines, another game that reminds me, well, essentially I want to say the spiritual predecessor, and I mean very much the spiritual predecessor of that game would be Portal multiplayer.
hmm.
And Chris has never played Portal.
Really?
I know, I know, I know, I
Okay.
know.
I do want to warn you. Every now and then, you're kind of getting a freeze frame. So,
Yep, it's
just something to be aware
unstable.
of. You're good now, though. You're good
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah,
may
no
very well be
Portal.
I drop. Yeah, he's never played Portal. It may very well be that I drop at some point because, as you know, the
Yeah,
internet is
that's
very
okay. We'll
unstable.
go for as long as we can.
Yep. So, yeah, and It Takes Two, it's kind of funny given how successful um it was critically acclaimed. It sold obviously a ton of
Yeah, remember
copies.
this won the Game Awards the year it came out.
It won the Game Awards, and it hasn't got really a game that came after it that did the same thing.
Mm-mm.
Like anything else that would have been that successful, 20 million copies, winning game of the year, everybody was playing it, people talking about what a great game it was. Every other kind of genre of game has been duplicated instantly
Yeah,
by someone. Battle Royale, whatever. Live action, whatever it was. Yes, they absolutely all do it, except for this kind of game, and I don't understand why.
I think it's because, and you see this a lot with movies too, where
Mhm,
something is big and it's successful, but it's not the kind of successful that like the bean counters think is successful,
mhm.
and so it almost doesn't count.
Yeah,
And this
I'm
actually kind of
wondering if
relates.
this story might actually change some bean counters' minds.
It could, and this kind of relates to another story that I have. But yeah, this is like the people that are making those financial decisions are, they're looking at the numbers and they're looking, oh, how much revenue is it bringing in? And it's like they're not kind of considering that simple co-op fun. It's not a battle pass. It's not
They've
a live
taken the
service game,
To
and so
borrow a
they ignore.
phrase, they've taken the fun out of video games.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Oh, okay. We can actually. It's a good segue. We can get into it.
mhm.
The ex PlayStation boss Sean Layden has basically, I think he had a blog post.
Mhm.
No, it was an interview with Gordon Van Dyke, who's the co-founder of Raw Fury at GameIndustry.biz, where he talked about and basically warned of a collapse of creativity in the gaming space, largely due to, um, I want to see his exact quote, but he's like, yeah, the people are worrying more about their monetization than whether they're making something players want.
Right. Let's see, what was the quote? Collapse of creativity. Where is the quote that he had? Today, the entry costs for making a AAA game is in the triple digit millions now, he said. I think naturally risk tolerance drops, and you're looking at sequels, you're looking at copycats, because the finance guys who
Yeah, that's it.
draw the line say, well, if Fortnite made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this in that amount of time. We're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today with studio consolidation and the high cost of production. Double A is gone. And he says that is a threat to the ecosystem. If you're going to pitch me a double A game, and in the first 2 pages of your deck is your monetization and revenue subscription scheme, I'm out. Your first page has to be, this game needs to be made, and here's why.
Yeah.
I want to see that fire. I don't want to see, here's the chief accountant on the team that's going to explain to you the game's monetization. Yeah, and yeah, he's not wrong.
No,
He's not
basically
wrong.
that whole interview. And what's interesting is he has said things like this before. So this isn't like a new comment from him, but he's also echoing a lot of what I think is a sentiment around games industry now.
Mhm.
And so I feel optimistic, cautiously optimistic, that this is seemingly such a widespread sentiment, and at least like people at his level, even if he's ex CEO of PlayStation, he was.
Mhm.
People at that level realize
Well,
that.
Sony Interactive Entertainment, not just PlayStation, Sony Interactive
Yeah,
Entertainment. So
like
it was also the games,
they can
the
see
studio.
that. They see that. They acknowledge this. They're at least aware of this. Even if they're too deep into it to change it, it's I do like cautiously optimistic that SIE kicked out that one dude who used to be there, who greenlit all the live service games, and then they replaced him with someone from Japan. I forget the
Mm.
name of the ex CEO.
I will look. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna rely upon the chat room. The chat room will probably do a better job than I will on finding that information. Yeah, who was fired? Who was the guy, PlayStation guy who essentially made live service
Yeah.
the thing?
Bitters says, would you rather have 12 AAA games or 120 single A games annually?
120 single A games annually.
But also, those 12 AAA games, half of them are live service.
Mhm.
Half of that half are battle royales, and like 3 of those, no, 2 of those are like multiplayer games, and then like maybe 2 of them are single player games.
Mhm.
And that's kind of how it breaks down.
Yeah, yeah. They're all kind of copies of, almost all of them copies of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're either Fortnite clones or GTA clones, GTA Online clones. Yeah. Um, at least with 120 games, at least at that point, you're going to have a better chance of actually seeing something unique happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Herman Holst, was that who it was?
No, it wasn't Herman Holst.
Sony
No, it wasn't Kaz Harai. It
Interactive
wasn't Sean Layden. Who the hell was the guy that?
leaves and live service. Jeremy Rich? No,
No,
that's Bungie to become Sony's head of production management. There we go.
Jim
Oh,
Ryan.
yep, Jim
Jim
Ryan. There it
Ryan.
is. I
That's
just
what it
found it.
was.
PlayStation top executive fired due to his focus on live service games.
Yes. Oh my god, that was hard
Yeah.
to track down.
Yeah.
But yes, Jim Ryan, he's gone, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. But that's we take that as a win until the next, viral genre that makes a ton of money
I mean, okay,
comes along, and then the next guy just focuses all on that too.
look, it was microtransactions. Then it was DLC. Then it was those passes that came with a game that were meant to
Game Pass?
prevent you. No,
Yep.
not game pass. Not even battle passes. The
What is
things that
Vendor
were
Pass?
like meant to fight against GameStop. Of like, oh, you got this game if you got it new, it came with a code for like
Oh,
particular mode.
yeah.
But if you bought it used, it didn't have that code and you had to
Yep.
pay $10 to get it. It was that. Then it was Battle Royale. Then it was live service. Then it was battle. It's always one thing or another.
And then hero shooters and yep.
It's always one thing or another. But like, look, if we can get past this one, yes, there's going to be some other thing in the
There'll be
future.
some other thing
We'll
that becomes that.
we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah. Actually, let's not forget MMOs and MOBAs.
Oh yeah. Well,
That was a thing.
but those weren't really like self-destructive things. Those were just like new genres that kind of blew up and took over.
Right, that everybody wanted to make an MMO and then nobody
Yeah,
could.
that's true. That's true.
Are you kidding? Oh god, I remember being at GDC many years ago, and it was like I was staying in a
Yeah.
hotel, and
Yeah.
every single group of people that I passed by in the lobby of the W Hotel in San Francisco, which was across the street from Moscone Center, which is where GDC was happening. Every single person I walked by was talking about an MMO that they were making. Every single person. I remember that so vividly. We want to make, we have our big idea is that we really want to make an MMO. It's like, there's only so many.
There's only so many people that will play your MMO.
And they're already playing World of Warcraft, and that's literally a full-time job for them. So no,
Yeah.
you're not going to make an MMO. So yes, I'm surprised at that we aren't seeing more games like It Takes Two, and also I agree with the ex-PlayStation boss. By the way, I did not know this. Sean
Layden?
Layden, thank you. Sean Layden is an advisor for Tencent since 2022. Which means he still has a say in the industry. And he's not the first person to have said this. Everybody thinks this. Why is nothing changing? Everybody's complaining about it, but nothing happens.
I think the reason is because a lot of this criticism has kind of reached a fever pitch in the last year. Game development takes a long time. We're not going to see the results of all this controversy until like 2026 or 7, right? Because that's even
maybe
even if last year someone was like, we're spending too much on games, let's make smaller budget games that take 3 years to develop instead of 6. That was in 2023. You're not going to see that game until 2026.
Yeah, maybe.
It's,
but
like, this shit takes a while. This shit takes a while.
I mean, yeah, it takes a while. It's, it's like trying to, steer the Titanic. It takes a while for, the message to get to the engine room and then the engines to actually make the change. That being said, this has been said for quite a while. A lot of people in high positions have been saying this, especially after they've left their jobs. Which means they didn't have a come to Jesus moment when they left. They knew that when they were running those companies exactly the way that they are complaining about after they leave.
Which suggests that, like the Titanic, it's like the Titanic. Hey, maybe we should start to steer it. But no one else wants to. Well, shit.
Yeah.
That's why they left.
Yeah. They're all a bunch of chicken shits is what it is. And as much as I appreciate him saying that, he was also the head of Sony Interactive. He could have made that change, which means he knew he wasn't what he was doing was killing creativity. He knew it was happening and he let it happen because either he's chicken shit or he doesn't care as much as he thinks. You don't get to say those people are just wrecking creativity. You were those people. You could have changed, but you didn't.
He was the president in 2014
that was quite some time ago, but still
2019. So he was
2019
so he
was
was
definitely in the middle of that.
no, I would say 2019 is where that sea change began. I think 2019 was like the beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end of creativity or the beginning of the end of this bandwagon jumping? And I would say no.
Oh, those no
Bandwagon jumping was absolutely happening back in 2019.
bandwagon jumping is a nature of humanity. There will always be bandwagon hopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
All right.
that's my story.
All right. Let me jump one in here for you. Just speaking of bandwagon jumping and creativity. So something came out that you didn't bring it up. I'm really surprised you hadn't already brought it up. Kind of the above the fold was the Sony Xbox Showcase.
I I didn't bring that up
Sorry,
because I
Sony
was
Xbox,
waiting for
the
you to
Xbox
come
Showcase.
back.
Sorry.
I was waiting for
Yeah,
you
the
to get
Xbox
back to talk about
Showcase.
that.
I will start
And
with something that happened at the showcase
okay, I'm
that
curious
I
about why you're
noticed.
so negative because I thought this was a pretty good showcase, all things considered.
No, I did. I do. I'm not negative about it at all.
Oh, oh, okay,
But
okay.
there was something that happened that I'm really surprised didn't strike anybody else that I saw in any headlines. And let me pull it up so I can get it, so you can share the joy. Um, uh, like a Sorry, I did not have this set up earlier. Stand by. Where's all my thing? There we go. There we go. Now we've got the right one. Apologies for the clunkiness of this. So there was one game that stood out to me, which was the oh god. Oh, I don't know if I can do it. There we go. Maybe. Is it working for you?
Oh, yes, I
Yes. Like a Dragon, Pirate Rikuza in Hawaii. So this is I guess, DLC or
no, it's a game. It's
it's
a
a
whole new
game. It's
game.
right, but it's like another game within the Yakuza world.
Oh,
But it
yeah.
is a pirate game in the Yakuza world. And it looks pretty awesome.
It
Does it
looked
look familiar?
it's when I saw this, I think I sent you and Andrew a text that was like, "This is what Skull and Bones was supposed
This
to
is
be."
what we were supposed to have with Skull and Bones. They went and made the Skull and Bones that we wanted. And it looks awesome. And I can't wait for this.
And
So,
it looks different too because it's got like the sailing and the stuff of Assassin's Creed 4, but it's
mhm.
also got a lot of the wackiness of Yakuza.
Right, exactly.
So it's like this game isn't going to take itself too seriously. This is just going to be a goofy ass fun time.
Yes, it's going to be a goofy ass fun time with this mechanic that we have been waiting to come back since Black Flag.
Hmm.
So I cannot wait for this. If this is multiplayer, if they have a multiplayer component on this,
That would be cool. I know the Yakuza games are usually single player.
yeah,
I think they had like one multiplayer thing.
yeah. So February 28th, 2025, or sorry, 21st, 2025. Um, so
Which like
as soon as I
fuck
saw it, it was
February.
like, oh my God, this is like it couldn't come as at a worse time for Ubisoft to have
Yeah.
somebody make the game that we wanted them to make that they didn't make.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to make sure that this game does really, really well, just so that Ubisoft can see that they fucked up and didn't make the game we wanted.
Anyone left playing Skull and Bones will jump to this.
Absolutely. I don't think is anyone playing Skull and Bones? Hey,
I mean, the servers are still up. I
where do
assume
we see
somebody is.
concurrent player information? I should see that. Uh,
Is it on Steam? Is it available on Steam?
Steam player count by game. charts over. There you go. Steam charts. Let's take a look. Can I look it up by
Oh no.
game? What? What? Did you find it?
I'm on the page. I found it.
Okay, share it so that
I'm
I
gonna
can see it.
share it.
210 players. 365 in the last hour or in the last 24 hours. The
Yeah.
all-time is that the all-time peak
All-time peak.
was 2,000 people.
Now, okay. Granted, this is on PC. I imagine this game probably has more players on console,
Mhm.
but that's also not very good.
No.
Okay. For reference, let's search for. Oh, did Concord not come out on Steam? No, it did. Concord. Okay, Concord had an all-time peak of
600,
700.
700. Yeah.
700.
One
So this
person played in the last
this
24
is
hours.
this is 2,000. Wait, did they? What?
What? Yeah, one person played. I'm not quite sure how.
Okay, there was a news story that I didn't bring up
Uh-huh.
about how Concord is getting like updates behind the scenes, even though
Uh-huh.
no one's playing
That's
it.
what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
So someone is testing something.
That's what it is. It's the tester to fix that broken piece of shit.
But yeah, point is, Skull and Bones also not doing really well. That's crazy.
Mm-mm,
I honestly thought that it would be doing better.
I'm going to remember remember these numbers in February because I want to remember these numbers of what that looks like compared to the Yakuza one because that one looks like it's being made with joy and love as opposed to Skull and Bones, which was essentially being made despite the they didn't want to make it, they didn't want to do it. You
They were
could tell
forced to.
they were being forced to. Yes, exactly. And they hated every minute of it. They
Wow.
shouldn't have. They should have embraced it, but they didn't. They opted not to. And it has happened to their peril because Ubisoft is not doing well today. And I bet you if they'd have had a hit like what I hope Yakuza Pirate, like a pirate, what is that? Yakuza, like a dragon pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. If that's as big as a hit as I hope it is, that was the hit that Ubisoft needed to not be in the situation where it is right now.
I mean, I think it will because the Yakuza series has just been quietly ramping up popularity over the past like decade. Like
Right.
it's been doing really well. What is a recent live service game that came out?
I mean, other than Concord?
Yeah, other than Concord, like Skull and Bones, I thought there was like another big one that came out this year.
I can't think of anyone.
I want to compare it to Skull and Bones, but I don't want to compare it to like Overwatch or something that's like doing well.
Yeah. No, I want to
something
compare
else.
it to something new that's come out this year.
Yeah.
Because Overwatch is the one that one of the ones that everybody wants to copy. So you're not going to look at the granddaddy. But yeah. So I'm super excited about that. I am very, very excited about the fact that that who is it that makes Yakuza? Which company? I can't remember.
I know it's owned by Sega. I don't know the developer exactly.
Like a Dragon developer is Ryuga Gotoku Studio. Sega. It's essentially it's a Sega thing.
Yeah.
Developers, yeah. Ryuga Gotoku Studio, Sega, Sin Sophia, and a bunch of other developers all working on it. But bottom line, Sega.
Yeah, Sega.
That Sega is making the game that Ubisoft should have made, and it's going to pay off for Sega. Bottom line. At least that's my prediction. And I hope it to be true. Because I really want to rub, Eve's nose in this Dookie that he took. Speaking of Dookie. Yes, that was a great segue.
Oh my god.
What?
Can you still see my screen? Let's
Uh,
show it.
oh, add to stage. All right.
Suicide Squad, Kill the
Su
Justice League. Surprisingly close.
Oh my god, and that was
119.
considered a absolute turd.
It also had a much higher all-time
Oh, yeah.
peak.
Yeah.
119 and 140 to 210 and 365.
Yeah. So fewer players playing right now in general, but it has a much, much higher peak.
Yeah.
It shows
That's
that at some point it was successful for a minute.
that's interesting to see. Like
Mhm.
it's not far off from Suicide
Yeah, if you
Squad.
look at the overall like, look at the graph at the bottom
Yeah.
where like, compare that to Suicide Squad. Go back to Suicide Squads. Okay, you see
Suicide
that
Squad
high
peaked
peak,
and
and then it
then
drops
fucking
off?
plummeted.
Yeah, it plummets. And then you look at the,
Skull and
Skull and
Bones.
Bones, and it's like it came up and it kind of just tapered off. It wasn't like
Yeah, it
anybody
wasn't any one thing. It's just people kind of slowly lost
right,
interest.
and not a lot of people jumped on in the first place. That was the other
Yeah.
thing. Not a lot of
Yeah.
people bought it, which is even worse because honestly, as long as somebody bought it, it would have been fine. But nobody bought it. It just was like, not that interested. And I'm sure that Ubisoft looked at that and said, see, pirate games don't sell. But I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to Sega proving them wrong, and I think they will, because that looks like fucking fun.
Ooh, AC Wraith mentioned Gotham Knights.
Mm.
It's a good one. Gotham Knights.
Oh,
It Gotham Knights has a higher current
jeez.
and 24-hour peak.
Yeah, yeah, and the peak is, like, 10 times. 10 times.
It has a higher everything.
It has a higher everything.
And I don't
Yep.
even think that game is supported anymore. Oh, that was a good choice, AC Wraith. That was a good
Very
one.
well done. Yeah. Alright, so,
Yeah.
speaking
Okay.
of Dookie,
Well, we were gonna you brought up the showcase.
okay, let's talk about Showcase, then we'll talk about Dookie.
Yeah, there was some cool things on the showcase.
Okay.
Um, the blooper teams, like right after the success of Silent Hill 2 remake, revealed a new game called Chronos New Dawn or
Mhm.
Chronos the New Dawn, which had an appropriately freaky ass trailer that looked really weird of a guy in like a big diving suit playing chess with an old woman.
Mhm.
Uh, and I don't, I'm behind it. I will give them the benefit of the doubt with the success of Silent Hill that I want to see what they do next. I want to
Yeah.
see now that like they have generally made kind of average reviewed and sold games. So
Mhm.
now that they've hit this big success, I'm really curious what they do with it.
Yeah, and, the whole showcase in general had a lot of things that seemed really, really interesting to me. Really interesting to me.
There was a cool game. I'm not into it called Mouse PI for Hire, which now that Mickey Mouse is in the public domain, basically made like a detective a detective game with old school Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse as the
Yep,
main character.
yep, that's it was just a matter of time before that happened, and I'm surprised that it hadn't.
I
Uh,
mean, Mickey Mouse entered the public domain like last year, so
yeah,
they got
not
this
even
out
not
pretty
it wasn't
quick.
even a year ago.
Oh yeah,
And the fact that it's a first person Mickey Mouse shooter is awesome.
yeah. I'm
So
honestly not sure what the whole game is, but it's got a cool style, and it's one of those things that I appreciate it
and it
exists.
reminds me a little bit of Cuphead, but, Cuphead with being a
Oh
platformer, but it's
yeah,
along
Cuphead.
that same line of the artwork of this vintage style artwork. So anyway, yeah, Steamboat Mickey with guns.
Yeah. They announced Subnautica 2,
Yes,
which
they did.
looks cool. Looks like more Subnautica.
I think we all already knew that Subnautica 2 was happening, but they announced the
Yeah, that's not
release
a
date,
yeah.
which is going to be, did they say early 2025 or just 2025?
I think it's just 2025.
Okay, so but the big news about that, and I actually have an individual story about that,
Hmm.
it is going to be Game Pass day 1, which is kinda cool.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see what I have on the notes on that. Stand by. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Coming to Xbox Series X and S and PC in 2025. It's gonna be available on Game Pass day 1. Their quote was, "We've been hard at work behind the scenes crafting the foundation of the next Subnautica." And I just absolutely lost my place where I was reading, because I moved screens. Um, hold on. Okay. Uh, oh, damn it. I lost the screen again. Where is it? All right. We've been hard at work behind the scenes, crafting the foundation of the next Subnautica experience. Our goal has always been to bring early access to as many members of the community as possible to develop the game alongside our fans and players. That's why we're equally proud to announce that Subnautica 2 game will be available with Game Pass on day 1. So the way that they describe that makes me think that I'm not saying that they might be releasing kind of a half-done game, but that Game Pass, what happens on Game Pass
Stays
is
on Game
going
Pass.
to affect the continued development of the game itself. That it's
Hmm.
more a collaborative, at least the way he described it, more collaborative with players as opposed to, "Here's what you have," and it's just, like serving, like we're serving you this is what you're getting. We're just serving you up a game. We're gonna tell you how it is.
I mean,
I like that idea.
it says early access, right?
Right, early
At the
access
end
is
of
coming in 2025. Right.
so it's interesting that early access is on Game Pass. Have they not done that before? I know they've had early access games on Xbox, but I
No.
don't know if they've been a part of Game Pass or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But even so, I kinda like that idea of that Game Pass is not can be used, obviously, as a place for completed games, but it also is a good place for, early access where you can essentially use the player base to help guide what you might wanna do with that game to polish it up for full release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So anyway, Subnautica 2, that was another one of the games that came out.
One that I'm very interested in.
Mhm.
Uh, Former Dragon Age creative director Mike Laidlaw
Mhm,
has
who's
a
very
game
good.
that looks like a much more actiony Souls-like thing called Eternal Strands. I don't know if it's a Souls-like. The trailer really emphasized elemental combos. It's
Mhm,
like burn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things, like burn everything, freeze everything, throw everything, and then he's like throw yourself, and it shows the guy like using the throw power to chuck himself over a giant gorge,
mhm.
which could be cool. It This is one of those trailers where I look at it and I go, that seems neat. It is going to entirely depend on how it feels to play.
Right.
And you can't get that from a trailer, but it at least looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. And given Mike Laidlaw's bona fides, I really see this being a something I'm very, very much looking. I would not necessarily look at this game and go, "Oh yeah, I absolutely want to play this." But the fact that it's Mike Laidlaw makes me really very excited for this game.
Mhm.
Um,
On that same subject,
mhm.
FBC Firebreak,
Yes.
which normally would be a game that I look at and go, oh, it's a multiplayer shooter. I'm not that interested in it.
Right.
But this is from Remedy. This
Mhm.
is the multiplayer control game that has been rumored for several years.
Mhm.
FBC is the Federal Bureau of Control.
Right.
And Remedy, if nothing else, they make games that feel good to play. Control felt really good to play. Uh this is not Control. This is a first-person shooter,
Mhm.
not a third-person shooter. 3-player co-op. I don't know if it's an extraction shooter. It seems like it could be.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm not sure. It does feel like an extraction
yeah,
shooter.
because so much of it is about like, oh, we're gonna take an elevator down into this infected area, and it shows a lot of people like running through it. Uh, but yeah, I love Remedy. Remedy makes awesome games. Every game they've made, I have at least enjoyed. I don't think they've made a bad game. So
Mhm.
that pedigree itself makes me excited for this, even if the genre doesn't.
Right. Right. Oop, hold on a second. I've got the wrong banner up here. Where Xbox showcase. Thank you very much. All right. Yes. And what else?
And then I think there's one other thing. Oh yeah, well, there's Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is coming out on October 29th, and it is crossplay with PC.
Yeah, that's terrifying to me. But I have a feeling this is going to be the game that Nick and Chaos and I all play together. And there's going to be a lot of Edie screaming. A lot of Edie screaming. Um, yeah, I may have to like, tell the boy, it's like, yeah, no, I'm not coming over that weekend. You're on your own for you're on your own for Halloween.
So yeah, just in time for Halloween. Like
Mhm.
perfect timing.
Perfect timing for this. I'm
Uh,
I'm pretty actually really, really psyched about this.
yes,
Uh,
I'm excited to like finally play it. I've watched
yeah,
so many people play this game.
yeah, me too. And that I can play it with people who have already played it,
Yeah. Andrew,
which is
yeah,
nice.
Chaos.
Yeah,
He
like
he'll
with
he
chaos.
definitely knows like the pattern. Like he kind of
Right,
knows what to
exactly.
do.
He's gonna be able to be my Sherpa so I don't make rookie mistakes. At
Yeah.
the same time, I also know that he can trigger rookie mistakes for me and might just do it
Look,
just fine.
I've seen enough horror movies. In any ghost hunting horror movie, there's always the veteran who
Yep.
goes in there, knows what to do.
Mhm.
And then there's the rookies, and usually the veteran dies first, and it's gonna fall to us to like Forrest Gump our way through it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and the fact that it is on Xbox and that I could just get myself a Fire Stick and actually play it here, the Fire Stick Xbox virtual
Yeah.
Xbox thing. So I don't actually have to bring my Xbox over. That's kind of cool. Actually, no, I do. Well, I don't know if I would. I mean, the internet. He's gonna have to get that internet fixed because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm not coming over because I do not want to be dealing with that shit when I'm, trying to survive a ghost apocalypse. All right, so next item.
The game that I know AC Wraith is most excited about,
Hmm.
The Legend of Babu, which is kind of a like a third person action adventure game, but you have this big ass adorable floofy dog as your
Hmm.
companion.
Yeah.
Like dog you play as like a kid. The dog is like the size of you. You ride the dog through the world.
Hmm. He says it's also a different scenario from Hellraiser, so you'll get a break and then find new fear. So yeah, big floofy dog.
Yeah. Other than that, it looks like a third person action adventure game.
Hmm.
It could be good, but the dog is like a really good selling point.
Yeah, big white Akita is what it is.
Yeah. If game developers have learned anything from the success of Stray, it's
Hmm.
that putting cute animals as like the star of your game is a really good way to like, even if it doesn't ultimately sell well, like it's a good way to get it noticed.
Right, exactly. Everybody's gonna go, "I want a big floofy dog."
Everybody's
And you
gonna
know who
want.
knew that? You know who knew that first? Peter Molyneux. He knew.
Oh
He
yeah, the
knew.
dog.
The dog. You're going to feel love because we're going to give you a dog. I remember hearing that and being like, "You are absolutely a total loon." and then being by
Forget-
the end of the presentation being like, "I want the dog."
Also, Forget Your Life says, spoilers, the dog dies in the end.
Well, of course it does. I mean, everybody remembers Old Yeller. Dogs always have to die in the end.
Not always. I will
Really?
spoil The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Remember that famous, like,
That's
long in development
absolutely that was
game?
what I thought about when you said, mhm.
Everybody was like, "That animal's totally gonna die in the end." It does not.
Oh, it doesn't. Good
It
to know.
doesn't. I will spoil that in hopes of getting more people to play that underrated game. The cute animal survives.
Good to know. Alright, any
And
other
then
games that you saw?
the only other thing that stood out to me was a game called Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which honestly, it's described as a Souls-like action RPG, which it doesn't really tell you anything. Those words are, like, so overused, they're
Right,
practically
exactly. That
meaningless.
means nothing at this point.
It's it's like, I watched this and I was like, "Oh, that looks like a could be a neat Souls-like game." They're a dime a dozen, some are good, some are better than others. Looks neat. I also think that, being named Wu Chang after Wukong just
Kong.
sold tens of millions of copies is
Yeah,
like, I don't know if you did this on purpose, but, like, it
that's
kind of
going
feels
to
like Transformers versus Transmorphers. You
mhm.
know, what was the name of that movie studio that always made the super cheap ripoffs?
Oh, I can't remember.
It's like Arcane. It wasn't Arcane. Asylum? Are they
Maybe.
Asylum movies? Yeah. I was kind of thinking that of like, Wu Chang, is this just the Asylum ripoff of Wukong? But also, probably not. Maybe I'm being a little too mean on it. Um, but yeah, it's just you see it and you're like, oh, that looks neat.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like I'm being really negative on it, but I really like Souls-like games. Um, it's just they're really hit or miss.
Right. A
And
bad Souls-like game is really bad.
yeah,
A good Souls-like game is really good.
and it's hard to judge that based on a trailer because so much of
Right,
it comes down to the feel.
right,
But I look, all these games are coming to Game Pass. I will totally check it out because it's on Game Pass. So
right. Yeah, that's the other really nice thing about Game Pass is that, it takes the risk, the financial risk of a game that you're not quite sure about. You can
yeah.
just be excited for it and hope it's good, and if it isn't, no
Al-
skin
Although I
lost.
should specify, I stocked up on Game Pass subscriptions before the price hike, so I'm good for the next 2 years. But after that, like, it's not set to renew because $25 a month is
A lot.
horribly expensive.
Yeah.
So, like, this is not me necessarily endorsing Game Pass. I'm just like I got in under the radar.
Why did Edie get breathless for a really good Souls-like when we can barely get her to play Elden Ring? I didn't say that I thought they were a lot of fun. I said that they are a lot of fun because I know that they're a lot of fun because I enjoy watching other people play them, and they have a lot of fun.
Some
Uh,
people think they're a lot of fun.
some people okay, let's qualify that. Some
Yeah,
people think they're a lot of fun. When they're really good, they're really, really good, and when they're bad, they're really, really, really bad.
yeah. And so I
Um,
think that's all the stuff that stood out
yeah.
to me. There was some other things, but there were a lot of like Animal Well is coming out on Xbox, but that had played before. There was a game called Blind Fire that I honestly couldn't tell if it was a multiplayer game or a single player game. But
Mhm,
either way, it was like a first person shooter that was built around you running around dark places.
mhm,
And it just kind of looked hard to see.
yeah.
Um, and I think that was everything.
Yeah, and since we're
Yeah,
talking about
mostly.
Xbox, might as well hit this. Microsoft announced a new head of Xbox Game Studios, which is surprising,
That's
but
that's a
that
yeah, that's
happened.
big.
Yeah. So the new head
Okay,
is
wait, who's the old head? Like I've heard Xbox has been in the news enough that I've heard the names a lot of the people in charge, but I don't know their exact roles.
okay. So Alan Hartman is the current head.
familiar.
He is retiring after more than 30 years with Microsoft, and he's retiring in November, so next month. Now, Hartman actually just took on the role himself. He had just taken over last year. The previous head before him was Matt Booty. And he'd
Oh,
been
yes,
promoted
I
to
know Matt
president
Booty.
of game content and studio. So Matt Booty moved up. Alan Hartman came in for a year. Now the new head, as of November, is going to be Craig Duncan, and
So
he is the former Rare Studio head.
okay.
So
Oh,
he's going from
okay.
Rare, the head of Rare Studios, to the head of Xbox Gaming Studios.
So Alan Hartman came in and saw what Matt Booty had left him and was like, "Fuck this, I'm out. I'm not
out.
just
I'm too old for
I'm,
this shit.
I'm too
I'm
old."
retiring. No, I'm thinking what happened was, is they came to Alan and said, Alan, he's like, I want to retire. Alan, here, we'll make you a deal. We're going to give you a lot of money and a lot of stock options. Just take over until we find a permanent head. We can't just leave it open, and we don't want to make an emergency hire.
Okay.
So just take over, because Matt Booty is probably like, look, I've been waiting for you to find the right guy, and I'm out. So I'm taking this promotion. You guys got to find somebody. And they didn't find him somebody in time enough. So they're like, okay, let's buy ourselves another year of finding the perfect person. And that's what I'm anticipating was the reason for this. I don't know for sure, but that's what it feels like to me. Is that he was just kind of a placeholder as they were doing their candidate search. So anyway, yeah, more about him. So yeah, the Craig Duncan, who is going to be the new head, he was the studio head at Sea of Thieves and Banjo-Kazooie developer Rare since 2011, and his position at Rare is now going to be taken over by two people, Joe Neate and Jim Horth. They're going to be co-leaders. And they're going to continue their work, obviously, on Sea of Thieves, which is no small amount. That's, by the way, there's another live action game that it's interesting to look at, and Everwild. Now, Duncan himself, Craig Duncan, is no stranger to the industry at all. He worked on titles like on titles at Code like Colin McRae at Codemaster. Sorry, having a brain cramp. He worked on Colin McRae while
the racing game.
Codemastered. So
Okay.
Codemasters is like there's a throwback. He also worked on Clive Barker's Jericho and
That's
Overlord. And he also worked on the titles Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing and Dead Space. So he's done quite a lot as the head of Rare. And now he's just taking his experience into Xbox Game Studios.
Okay. And also, just as frame of reference, Sea of Thieves, current player count, 9,500. 24-hour peak, 15,700.
All of them are under 13 and have horrible potty mouths.
Also, though,
absolute degenerates.
That seems to be like a game that's doing pretty well.
It is. It is doing very well, actually. It is the Skull and Bones. Here's a question: not how many people are going to come from Skull and Bones. How many people are going to be stripped away from Sea of Thieves?
Yeah, that's the question. Look, we saw the player count for Skull and Bones. By the time February rolls around, that's going to be 0 anyways.
But for Skull and Bones, yeah, it's going to be 0.
Yeah.
But the question is, how many people are going to leave Sea of Thieves to go play Yakuza? If there, and it all comes down to if there's a multiplayer component. This is what it all comes down to. The sailing was great, but we got that already. That was in Black Flag. It's the multiplayer content that becomes a critical issue, and I'm thinking it doesn't have multiplayer. Which
probably
not a horrible thing, but it's not what we wanted. We want that multiplayer component. Anyway, So your next item.
Speaking of Game Pass, so Call of Duty comes out next week.
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass was offering a like $1 for a week or something trial.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, they're no longer doing that.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah,
Course
because lots of people want to play Call of Duty.
So it was
Why?
it was
Why would
$1
we?
for what? The first month?
$1 for a 2-week trial subscription.
See, they should have just done that.
Yeah, but see, everyone's gonna want Call of Duty. Why would we give it to them for $1 when we can force them to sign up for at least 15? No, the $15 tier doesn't have it day one. That's 25. See, we're making 22. It's a 250% increase.
Yeah, see, and that's I think being penny
2,500%
wise and
increase.
pound foolish. If it was $1, chances are you would get that subscription. But the fact that it's 25, people that don't want to spend that money are going to spend the 20, like what I did with Hulu. I don't want to pay for Hulu. Fuck Hulu. It's horribly expensive.
I like
Not
Hulu.
crazy about it. I only got it. Sorry. YouTube TV. Horribly
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
horribly expensive, completely pointless, but it was baseball season, and I could watch
Mm,
baseball on YouTube TV. So I got it for the baseball season, and as soon as the Giants were eliminated, bam, gone. And I may come back to it, I may not, depending on whether, there's another alternative. It Who knows? But it comes down to, had they given it to me for like, $1 a month, I might have considered like keeping it on, for my, give it to me for $20 a month for the first year and then make it $85 a month. I would have probably kept it. But they're just going to get that money from me, and they're going to get it for a half year, and I am going to look for any reasonably priced alternative that will allow me to watch Giants games during the season.
yeah. I think this feels especially egregious too because it's a week to release. Like, if you're gonna get rid of
Yeah,
this,
do
you
this a
should have done it a month
long time
ago.
ago.
You should have 2 months. You knew that Call of Duty was coming out, right?
Question. They didn't do this retroactively. So if you did it last week and you signed up for the $1 Game Pass,
Yeah,
does that mean you're still getting it for $1 for the 2 weeks?
I think so.
So
'Cause
you
yeah,
could actually technically play it for 1 week, or not even
yeah,
that, like 1 day or 1 or 2 days.
you'll probably get in just under the radar, but you could
Just
do
under.
it. You
Yeah.
could do it.
Yep.
Or you could have done it if you'd already bought the
Yeah.
trial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the kind of the ongoing enshittification of Game Pass that's like,
Mhm.
"Oh,
And
you kind of raise the price too much,
yeah,
nothing's day
yeah,
one
anybody that
anymore.
says game is for
Take this away."
gamers is, making things
Oop.
better for gamers. No, no, there's your proof. It's not about making things better for gamers. It's actually about making things worse for gamers, because you're just gonna have to be spending a lot more money for your games. You're gonna
Yeah.
be spending $270 a year for Call of Duty.
No, it's more than
Or sorry,
that.
well, it's $25 a month,
Oh, does that come out to 270?
275.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, 200 you'll be paying $275 for Call of Duty
Yeah.
a year, not 60 or 80 or
Also,
whatever.
your video is really fuzzy. I can hear you pretty well, but the
Mhm.
video is like a little delayed. It's really pixelated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're definitely hitting a we should probably wrap up, because I do have a feeling this is all gonna come crashing down any minute.
Okay. I only have one other story.
Okay.
So, Unity has
Mhm,
released their new engine called Unity 6,
mhm.
and their new CEO, who wants you to know he's not John Riccatello, he's new, uh, is doing a press tour to be like, "Hey, can you forgive us, please?"
Is it really, I mean, seriously, what's this press tour like, what's he saying?
He's saying like, we want to. Oh, let's see if I can get. Where's all the old? Oh, I think I.
We want to
Oh,
be
with the
fundamentally different and better company.
yeah.
Oh.
With the release of Unity 6, we're interested in reconnecting with customers and help them understand that it's our commitment to deliver what matters to them and that we're going to be a fundamentally different company in that regard.
Mm.
Yeah, to be fair, he replaced John Riccatello.
Mhm.
And
Who is a failed Bobby Kotick.
yeah, and that is when Unity canceled the runtime fees. So
Yeah.
the thing that made everyone hate Unity, Riccatello did not actually cancel that. He would have ridden it out.
Oh, yeah.
The new guy came in, and he's the one that canceled those fees.
Mhm.
Apparently, the fees are still going to increase, but that's also look, inflation, things increase over time, blah blah
Right,
blah.
right, right, right.
Um,
Except
it's just kind of
video game prices.
yeah. No, you just get different versions.
True, or you just have to buy it on the buy a pass for it.
Yeah. But yeah, he's doing the apology tour, trying to get people to come back. And it will be
Did
interesting to
anybody
see.
hire Riccatello,
I don't
or
know.
did he fail upwards again?
I'm sure he failed upwards because look, he's a white dude in finance and he could be the face of anything. Let's see.
Yeah, he's awful. Just awful. Just truly awful. I've now that I am dating somebody who worked at EA under John Riccatello, I'm getting some inside baseball information, not like individual information, but kind of a different perspective of how much Riccatello's under Riccatello's tenure, EA sucked in many ways.
Hmm.
For games, for really good games.
Yeah. Just like working there.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I believe that.
yeah, like, and it's stuff that we knew because of the X remember that Xbox, all that data, the document
Oh
dump,
yeah.
right? And we found out things like Baldur's Gate were rated very, very low. It wasn't gonna do any no good. Oh, nobody was gonna play it. But they thought that Starfield would be.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, Redfall. They thought Redfall was gonna be a huge hit and that Baldur's Gate was gonna be, like a D tier game. Um, that actually and here's something I didn't maybe I knew, actually I didn't really know. Here's where that really hurts. Not I mean, yes, they absolutely score games early on, deciding what's gonna be successful and what's
Oh, yeah, well,
not.
games have always had like internal reviewers to kind of play it and tell us how do you think this game will score.
Right, and we've always assumed that that would alter the way that the game was marketed. That's not what really kills a game that is that gets a, I don't say a bad review, but becomes a lower tier for whatever reason, erroneously. What happens is they only print a certain amount of copies of the game. Now, this is back when it was disc. So they only print 50,000 copies of Future Cop, which ended up being a progenitor of MOBAs. That's where the
Hmm,
game where MOBAs were invented. They only
interesting.
print 50,000 of Saboteur, which I went back and looked at,
I
and it
thought
was my game of the year.
Saboteur got decent reviews.
Saboteur got great reviews. But they only printed, I'm just throwing out a number, 50,000. I mean, I have no idea if that's the actual number, but they only printed like 50,000 copies. So even
Huh.
if it got great reviews and people were saying it was fantastic, there were only 50,000 copies out there, which is kind of a good thing about digital downloads is that that doesn't cost them anything. They could just put it up there and they could sell as many copies as they were. There's no that's they don't actually limit the sales because of the copies of the games. So a game can become a viral hit in that way that it couldn't back in the day. I bought Future Cop LAPD. I like that game mode. Yep. Yeah, that was Chris told me the story of how that game mode was invented.
Huh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was according to him, they were done with the game and they were just in polishing mode. It was like 5 of them working on it in a room together. And they were like, and then some, I forget what one of the guys came in. I think it was the game was one of the artists, or maybe it was a designer. He kind of said, "Hey, I have this idea or I played this other game and it gave me an idea of like a mode for this game." And it was, it was like a month to release. And they're like, "You want to see if we can like make that mode just for fun?" And they made the mode, and it was so much fun that they decided to throw it onto as a, add-on into the game.
Huh,
And that
that's
was the
cool.
mode that essentially was the first MOBA, or among the first MOBAs. The first, like, there had been other games that took inspiration or was like a progression towards it, but that was like the first MOBA. And it was just like somebody coming in because they were bored and they were just polishing. And it's like,
Yeah,
"Hey,
yeah,
I got a
that's how.
crazy idea. You want to try it?" And Chris was like, "Yeah, I could do that." So he coded it up, coded all and they worked on it together. One of the guys actually coded part of the game. He worked on the AI, and they just kind of like sat there, doing essentially, what was it? Not games done quick, but what do they call it?
Yeah,
Well,
game jam.
a game jam. Essentially, it was a game jam for those 3 guys or 5 guys, just all working together. They had a month to do it. They're like, and they did it, and it ended up being a lot of fun. They were just playing with each other. And they're like, "Hey, let's see if we can throw it into the game." And so the producer was
Is
like,
it?
"Sure, throw it into the game."
Do you know? Was it actually multiplayer? Or was it a single player MOBA? Because that was. I looked it up. This was for PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation did not have like online capabilities.
I think it was a single player MOBA.
Neat.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I, of course, have not played Future Cop, but
I will have
I do
to.
have access to the actual code where I could play.
I will add that to my emulator.
Oh, really? Yeah, you should add it to the emulator and tell
Yeah.
Chris about it. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, AC Ray
There was a
says there was
couch
couch
co-op.
co-op.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so yeah,
Well,
playing
yeah,
it, it'll
Unity
be
doing.
interesting to hear
Yeah.
what you think about it.
Okay. I'll have
And
to.
then he will probably regale you with all the stories about the
I'll have to
development.
check that out.
Yeah.
I may have gotten it already.
Have you? What do
I
you
have my
mean?
ways. I have my ways.
Yes, you do.
How else do you get a game that is largely
Gone.
out of print?
Yeah, true. What are
Yeah.
you gonna do? You
What are you
know,
gonna do?
desperate
It,
times, desperate measures.
it is available on eBay.
That is true.
I bought it on eBay. That's what I did.
It's not co-op if it's
It's
versus
this is
self.
self. Oh, I guess yeah. It's not co-op if you're against yourself.
Oh,
Then
right,
it's just single
exactly.
player.
It's single player PvP. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
So yeah, Unity's trying to win people back. We really have no idea like how their numbers fell after that whole debacle.
Mhm.
So, but I know there's still like a major point of the industry. There's still a big engine that's widely used.
Yeah, it always will be.
So it's so
Till something
I'm
really
glad to see they have a new CEO who's like not actively trying to drive the company into the
right,
ground.
and has self-awareness to know.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of almost more important. Not that they're doing changing the direction, but the recognition that the direction that they were taking really, really upset people and left a bad taste in their mouth, and they acknowledge it. It's like you have to apologize before you can make things better.
Yeah.
You have to admit your faults. before, you can actually start the healing. And that they're looking to heal, and that they recognize that healing does absolutely have to happen because they pissed off a lot of people because they were just, because Riccatello was a miserable fuck.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, all right, my last item is, I have a couple of really, really fun ones, but I'll hold on to them for next week. But one that did hit me that I did not freaking know about, and where has this been all my life, and why didn't I know this? It couldn't be a more Edie thing in the world. So, did you know about this film that is a crossover film between GTA and Shakespeare?
What?
So there is a film that folks are putting on a production of Shakespeare's Hamlet in GTA Online.
It's like a machinima?
It's a machinima of Hamlet, and it's going to be coming
Okay.
out on as a limited film theater release. It is called Grand
Really?
Theft Hamlet. It's a it's let's see, it's called Grand Theft Hamlet. It's a documentary. And it's distributed it's going to be distributed by Tull Stories. It's confirmed that the film will be in theaters across the UK and Ireland from December 6th, 2024. So, and ahead of that date, Grand Theft Hamlet's also set to feature a number of UK film festivals, including the BFI London Film Festival, and it's going to get its UK premiere next week. And how did I not know about this? How awesome is that?
That's
So, yeah,
cool.
Grand Theft Hamlet.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and machinima is not unusual. That happens not all the time, but it's a thing. But to actually have it be a film production company that did the film in the game and is releasing it to film festivals and into theaters.
yeah, so it has 21 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Uh
It's Rotten Tomatoes reviews. That's awesome.
with a current 95%.
No. What? We have
Yeah.
to watch this. We have to see this.
I fell in love with Grand Theft Hamlet almost immediately. It's a fantastic and wildly inventive documentary that plays into the absolute absurdity of its central mission, leading to unpredictable and extremely entertaining moments.
I love this.
Grand Theft Hamlet stands as proof that sometimes even the worst and most impossible of concepts can still provide a wealth of creative freedom, fulfillment, and ingenuity. These are all just like quick excerpts from
Mhm.
reviews. Oh,
Yeah.
IGN Movies reviewed it. An
Mhm.
emotional reliving of the COVID-19 pandemic circumstances told through GTA and Shakespeare. Coming together, a sneakily sincere documentary about how important video games could be during the pandemic lockdown.
That just sounds amazing. I want to see this, and if it when it comes, because if it's gonna be in the UK film festivals, it's going to be in American
Yeah,
film
I
festivals.
want to
If
see
it's in the
this.
San Francisco freaking Film Festival, I will become a member so that I can get tickets for that so we can go.
Yeah, the whole project results in absolute hilarity, but the film is also exceptionally moving. So this is really cool. I
Yeah.
can't wait for this.
Do they have a trailer? Do we have a trailer for it? Let me see. I might. Uh,
There probably is.
I can't
Yeah,
remember.
trailer. There's a trailer for the Cambridge
Grand
Film Festival.
Grand Theft Shakespeare.
The
No,
Grand
Grand
Theft
Theft
Hamlet.
Hamlet. Okay, come on. I'm hoping that the internet holds up long enough. There it is. All right. So I am putting this on. I am actually going to turn on the volume so you can hear it. All right. So they're going to do it in the Hollywood Bowl.
Oh, someone's here. Look. Hi. Oh, look, someone's turned up. Is that you? Hi. Someone's here, Smart. We've got. Are you going to come and watch our play?
Every? Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah. You can. I mean, you could watch from there. It's a bit unorthodox, or I recommend. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for coming to see our performance. It's nice to have an audience, even if it's just one. Right. Okay. Oh, look, we've got another audience member here. This is Hamlet, William Shakespeare's Hamlet. I believe this is the first time it's ever been performed at the Vinewood Bowl. If I could just request that you refrain from killing each other, and don't kill the actors either. Yeah, start, Mark. You start.
Who's there?
Nay, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king.
Bernardo,
He.
you come most carefully upon your hour.
'Tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Francisco.
For this relief, much thanks. 'Tis bitter cold, and I am sick at heart.
Have you had quiet, guard?
Not a mouse stirring.
Well, good night. If you do meet Horatio and Marcellus, the rivals of my watch, bid them make haste.
I think I hear them. Stan Ho, who's there?
Friends to this ground, I think?
I don't think so.
And liegemen to the Dane.
Shit, that's the fucking police.
Oh, farewell, honest soldier. Who has relieved you?
Bernardo has my place. Give you good night.
Hola, Bernardo. Say what, is Horatio there?
Fuck. All right, we did pretty well to get as far as we did.
The fucking cops turned up in a helicopter.
Okay, I am absolutely
Sponsored by Squarespace.
Sorry, let me.
In 2022, a man.
Wait. All right, so I am absolutely 1000% in for this.
Yeah.
And that's just the trailer. Obviously, it's one scene full scene within the movie, and that's all they have to do. Can you please refrain from killing the actors?
I think we did pretty good to get as far as we did.
All right, so I am going to as soon as we're off, I am going to look at San Francisco Film Festival and start monitoring it and see. I'll monitor that one and see what film festival it's going to, and if it's anything around here, we're going.
Yeah.
If it's within a 2-hour flight, we're going.
Me.
All right. Anyway, so with that being said, we didn't show any music. You probably didn't even play any news music. So I'm
I
not.
played the news music.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Good for you.
I know how to work the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, look at you, all grown up.
Oh, also important. AC Wraith wants to know what's the rescheduled Hellraiser.
Rescheduled Hellraiser. Let's make it. Let me take a look at this calendar here. Let's make it Wednesday. Stand by. Let me find out when the Silver Spur is. Silver Spur. There's one event that I'm going to on. Silver Spur Awards. That's on November 8th. Okay, cool. Oh God damn it. Is that the same day as the tickets? That would suck. Oh, that's in Van Nuys. No, it's a different one. Silver Spur Awards, October 24th. Okay, so we can do it on Wednesday, October 23rd.
Okay.
All right. So Wednesday, October 23rd. I'm putting it literally on my calendar right now. If it doesn't, if the internet doesn't crash. Fucking, why do you want my password? Okay. I will put it on
23rd.
Yeah. October 23rd. Let's make it 7 p.m. Is that too early?
I can do. Weekdays are easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 7 p.m. Pacific time. That would be 10 p.m. your time. In East Coast, Eastern time. to do Hellraiser, we will be doing it in our Discord. Let me remind you of our Discord. Yeah, thank you. The Discord is going to be here in there. All right, there's our Discord. That's our Discord information. If you want to, we would love to have you there, and to watch with us. We will be watching it as a group watch. We will be watching Edie not enjoying herself at all, because I don't do scary movies very well, and it is this is your moment of zen. Touch me.
I mean, okay, AC Wraith is gonna have to remind me. AC Wraith is gonna remind me. The first Hellraiser is like, I think it's more of a thriller than a horror movie. Like, it only gets crazy horror in the last, like, third, like the last couple minutes.
Okay.
I think.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm figuring I'm gonna be scarred. That's if I
No,
assume
like-
I'm gonna be scarred, I can only be like surprised and
Like
pleasantly
a lot of
surprised
what
by
you
it.
think of when you think of Hellraiser, like all the BDSM demons, that's
Mhm.
largely Hellraiser 2.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Yeah, I don't want to
But-
see
but it-
BDS demons.
but it's
BSD
also been a long
demons.
time since I've seen the movie, so I don't remember
Okay.
exactly. Intro scene
Well-
explodes a dude in gory fashion. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I guess I don't know. I saw Django Unchained last night talking about exploding people.
That's a good
That's
movie.
pretty explodey. That's a very, very explodey people movie.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you want to join us, there's the Discord. Please come and watch me watch a horror movie, and if I do it on Wednesday, that means I can be up all night screaming and go to work on Thursday, and then I have an event on Thursday night. So it all works out.
Okay.
Drink myself to sleep for Thursday night. All right. So on that note, I hate to leave us right away, but I gotta go do the food poisoning thing. So I will just say goodbye, everyone. We will be back next week, next Sunday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, here on YouTube, Facebook, and Spreaker. YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Facebook, we are facebook.com/GameHounds. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids, all one word, GameHounds VIDS. And on Twitch, we are the GameHounds. If you are watching on any of those places right now, or even after the fact, please like and subscribe. It matters a lot. So if you like us, or if you just want to see us get a little more love from the community, hit that like and subscribe button. We will see you next week. And again, please join our Discord and join Nick, me, AC Wraith, and everybody else as we watch me get tortured by a movie. So have a great week, everyone. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Shepard, why are you freaking out?
Because he's going to miss me.